Hi guys and welcome back to the channel, VAG Technic. And I was in London. Reason why I was in London, because DPD messed up the delivery address somehow. And the DPD guy actually rang me. He got a delivery for Northfield Road, which is correct road, but it was somewhere in London. So instead of changing the address, what he tried to do, he messed up. They tried to deliver again in the same address while I changed it. It will be taking million years to actually get the package here, so I decided to jump in the car and go and pick it up to Heathrow. Meanwhile, we've been there. Miroslav picked up his new car. And right now we are finally going to continue working on the RS6, which was taken from the back room back to the ramp place. And it will be interesting. Again, this is round 2, putting the engine back together. Just a small update with the Febi hydraulic lifters. They're actually not Febi, they're Aina ones. They just call them Febi in the packaging, but they're the Aina hydraulic lifters. So bit of a funny world these days. Anything can be renamed. And meanwhile, I was cleaning up, getting everything ready. And we have the crankshaft here, which luckily have no damage. Everything is all right. And unfortunately, the bearings. So the mine and bearings, they don't look that bad, but the big end ones just didn't love it. Especially these ones, I would say, are the worst. They are not completely dead, but they are already have scratches. So I decided, why the engine is out, why not? It's just, I bought more parts. So we have from Sweden, King Racing bearings again. Then, meanwhile, when I didn't know the oil pump is not faulty and it's the rubber shit stuck in the tank, I make a quick decision and I bought a brand new oil pump. And then I found out we don't need oil pump. So it's not returnable. So whoever needs oil pump, I have a spare one. Give me a shout. We can have a deal. I also did order some things like this pipe I wasn't happy with. So I ordered that one. New crankshaft seals again, bolts, and loads of small gaskets and stuff, whatever needs to be replaced to put the engine back together. But mainly we have all new bearings, we have all new bolts, we have all new gaskets. Everything is literally cleaned up, ready to be put back together. You've seen the video before, so this is you. And I'm just gonna do a time lapse. I'm gonna talk you through because you've seen it already. This is just attempt number 2 to make the RS6 run, which will be very interesting. I'm really hoping the attempt number 2 will be with no further issues. And also the interesting thing will be put the crankshaft back together, because if you remember the first time I was building the engine, I installed the crankshaft in first, and then I was putting piston with rods one by one, and I was always turning it. At the moment, because it's V10, you can see the shape of the crank. Someone will have to help me somehow to put it in place, because yeah, it will be tricky. But I think we'll be able to do it how I took it out. Somehow got to put it back in there. Of course, when I was cleaning it, I had like rugs in there. Then I vacuum clean it, so there's like absolutely no dirt or mess. Also, just to show you, the cylinders has like no scratches at all, so I don't think there's a problem with that. Should be all good. And yeah, I visually inspect everything. Everything is moving freely. Nothing is seizing up. Nothing has a play, so it should be fine. Unfortunately, yeah, the engine is out, so I just strip it down just to make sure everything is fine. And I'm actually glad I stripped it down, because I wouldn't be happy with the condition of these bearings. So yes, attempt number 2. Time lapse will be switched on. Doggo is enjoying the weekend, and we will start working on the engine.
Nothing to it, I knew that, kinda knew that. Don't tell
I know what's going on. Did you shut it down?
ECUs again.
You shut it down?
No.
No, Philip, why you swap the ECUs again? I told you it's dodgy. ECUs are swapped again.
Backwards.
Yes, like this. We gotta turn them like this.
Okay.
Don't worry, it will be fine. Go on, kill it.
Immobilizer is cutting it.
Immobilizer was cutting it. Okay, shut it down. Okay guys, so we have day after. We still have some faults showing, like top up the windscreen washer and the headlight range, or the turning of the headlight is faulty, so we gotta sort out that. I managed to done 155 kilometers yesterday, and I have much better feeling than from the last 100 kilometers what I've done on the car. Good thing is, heating started working for a reason, because we have 0 degrees. And yeah, it's actually freezing. The whole car is frozen, but the heating is on, so we're gonna just wait for a couple of minutes and see how that goes. Also, after the yesterday drive, I must say it is much better. I was driving the car mostly in the cold matter. I'm trying to use it like up to 4,000 RPM, probably like 20% of the throttle. The response is brilliant. The car wants to pull. I don't want to put any pressure on it yet because it's still running in. So on the beginning we put 5W40 oil, which was just like a flash oil really, so that was drained out after probably like 20 minutes, and now we're running 10W60 Mobile 1. So the engine is quiet, there's no more tapping noise on idle coming from the side of the engine where you've seen before I actually strip it down, so that's gone. However, on acceleration there is a noise. I'm saying it's the injectors, especially on the R8. If you're on the R8 on a low RPM, these engines don't really like the low RPM, so it is like a bit of an injector tappy, but nothing serious. We were listening to the engine. I don't think it's mechanical or anything like that. Everything is new hydraulic lifters again, so that should be sound. And yeah, just gonna do a short test drive around here. We're going back to the garage, and meanwhile I will tell you like the story, how the engine was started and what kind of issues we were facing. So we are on the road. The engine was literally started for only a couple of minutes, and we already have like oil temperature coming on, which on one side is good because outside is showing 0 degrees, which is quite cold in the UK. It's feeling like -20 somewhere up north, but yeah. The reason why the engine is warming so quickly, well, first of all, the oil capacity is very low, and it's a big engine. I know it's a dry sump, it's got oil coolers and everything, but still Normally, if you have a S6 or S8 V10 without drive sump, it's taking quite loads of oil. Also the V8s, you're easily gonna get 9.5, maybe 10 liters of oil, depends. RS5 is probably 10.5 with oil cooler and everything. So oil make a huge difference, capacity of oil. And because I don't think Audi ever thought they will put into this chassis a V10 plus 2 turbos, the engine bay is really tight, and the engine is like, the fitment of the engine is like silly. I know it's surrounded with radiators and everything, but on the end of the day, yeah, it's a huge engine. So we're already on 90 degrees of oil temperature, coolant temperature is fine. I've done yesterday, like I said, about 150 kilometers, love it. However, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but it sounds like an MPI engine. So, I mean, it's only doing when there's an injector duty cycle, so when they're doing power. If you do a lift off, it will stop. So I'm suggesting it might be injector sound. It don't have to be injector sound. Maybe the Conrad wants to come out or something. Yeah, but it's definitely not that bad. I don't think it's something what will go definitely badly wrong, because on idle there's absolutely no noise when it's idling. As soon as you touch the throttle pedal, I can hear the ticky sound. Obviously there are 10 injectors. From the experience, I can only tell this engine in a R8 when it's back on your head and you're driving it normally, like low RPM, that engine sounds like it will break anytime. The ticking and tapping noise coming from the back is absolutely mental. But yeah, so far no oil lights, no nothing, everything is cool. I really enjoyed the car yesterday. I'm actually putting now 99 octane from Shell in it. Drives fine. When you're driving a steady like this, absolutely no noise, everything is cool, the car's going straight, the brakes feels really good, even the steel is for now. I didn't put the carbon ceramics on yet because
Calm down.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna get to that point I will need them. So that is a question still, because I'm still in the process of running the engine in, and if you're running an engine in which is forged, then I never use the stuff and I don't have no idea what I'm actually doing. Things can go actually badly wrong any minute, and I just don't want to waste any time and install the brakes when the car will be actually a non-runner, which I'm really hoping it will never happen again, because I'm not really planning to take the engine out again. Second time was enough for me. It sucked all the life energy from me. That's why there was only a time lapse. I didn't done a proper video, because first of all, you've seen it the first time, and second of all, like I said, my life energy is very low. So when it comes to the whole story, how the engine was put it back together and started, it was actually quite funny, because again we have a problem with the oil pressure to build it up on the first startup, but then eventually we've done it, and yeah, it was also a big fun to actually bleed the whole system and stuff. But it is all done, the car's on the road. I will be going back to the garage to tell you about the procedure how we were starting the engine the first time, because it was very funny still. And yeah, I must say, love the car. The exhaust, even if it's a straight pipe with only literally a rear box, it doesn't sound that loud. The turbo is taking quite loads of noise from the engine himself, so it's not stupidly loud, and I think it's also like drivable daily, so people won't be looking at you like what an idiot with a straight pipe and stuff. So yeah, if you have a V10 which is a natural aspirate V10 and you put something like exhaust which is on this one, that will be mentally loud, I reckon. So yeah, but so far good. I'm going back to the garage, guys. We're gonna do some kilometers and running in later on, and then I'm gonna tell you about the funny story how we start up the engine and how much money I actually spent so far. And here we are in the garage. The car's on the ramp, because that's the best place for the RS6 to be on the ramp. Straight away after I pull up, I open the shutter, put the car in, so I want to film it over there. There was a pop noise and coolant pipe started leaking. It's not like we forgot to put on something, but unfortunately the clamps which are there are not doing the job with the pressure. So my next plan is all the clamps what I see from underneath, I will replace them for a proper screw clamps. So they will be properly tight, because I can't drive the car on high RPM and I will have a burst pipe. So I'm not sure if it was leaking during driving, I can't tell. Maybe it was, because it's not like leaking, but it's letting the pressure through the clamp. And in the morning, the coolant level was a tiny bit lower. So I'm suspecting it might have actually been leaking here and there while I was driving the car. Luckily, it didn't blow up, it didn't leave me on the motorway last night. So let's be happy for that, save a bit of money for the recovery guy. And yes, with the whole engine build up, it was a bit of a pain, because when it happened, I've done a very quick decision when I didn't have any oil pressure that I need a new oil pump. I thought I was an idiot and I don't know how to put an oil pump back together. Eventually, it proved me wrong, so I can put the oil pump back together, so it was working, because afterwards I'd done the 100 kilometers, but it was too late, because I couldn't sleep for some reason. When you have a zero oil pressure and you're going to bed, you're thinking about things until you will literally find out why you don't have oil pressure. But before I did find out, I already make a phone call and I ordered a new oil pump. As soon as I pay for it, there was no way coming back. Couldn't return it, couldn't cancel it. That's why the engine actually have a new oil pump now. I still have the spare one with new thermostat, new water pump and everything, so it's in working condition. If somebody's after oil pump, let me know. I have one in working condition and it's not even leaking. And yes, so that was probably the most expensive single part I ever bought on the car, because turbos are too, so that's like, you know, if you're gonna divide the turbo prices, you know, it's not that expensive. But the engine build-up was going all right, but I have to get the bits, so I was waiting for the oil pump, which was coming from Slovakia. I was also waiting for all the additional stuff what I had to replace, like the bottom end bolts, few gaskets, few O-rings, which was ordered from Slovakia as well. I also did contact the guy from Lithuania, from FCP. I was asking him about the APR bolts, like, can I use them? Should I change them? He told me he would rather change them. I was reading online, you can use them, but I don't want to risk it, so I have new APR bolts, which were coming from Lithuania. And thank you, DPD, very much, because your delivery just get to London, and that's it. So I had to go to London and pick it up personally. That was on Friday, actually. So, yeah, bit of a waste of time, but never mind. So I had everything here, and that was Friday. Also, the OM parts arrived on Friday by FedEx, which was actually collected by FedEx on Wednesday evening from Slovakia, and Friday morning I have it here. So brutal shout out to OM parts from Slovakia to supporting us like this. And also we have to get new bearings. The minor bearings were ordered from King Racing, and everything arrived luckily before the weekend. So I started putting it back together. There was loads of cleaning. I didn't have enough live energy to do the filming again and again and again, because like I said, you already saw it, and it's just make my life easier just to put the time lapse and do my work. However, because we are a garage and people are calling us even Saturday night, because why not, I have a funny phone call from someone who was looking for a second-hand rack on the Mark V Golf, and I told them 5 times, like, I'm not at work because we're closed, and he still just keep going on. And unfortunately, while I was on the phone call, I done a mistake and I forgot to tighten one of the conrod bolts, which luckily I did spot, because when I was doing the 90 Newton meters on them, they were going much easier compared to the other ones. So that was all done and sorted. Other than that, there was no really issues with it. And again, I don't want to do name and shame. It's just my life what happened. I was putting the turbos back on, and unfortunately the wastegate fell apart. Well, I don't think it should happen, but it did happen. TT are using the self-locking nuts with the rubber inside, I believe, and that sort of somehow melted and the wastegate got loose, and I have to get it done. When I contact TT, they told me it's not under warranty, and if it is, I can send it to Germany, which I don't want it to, because I'm not a idiot, I can tie the bolts and nuts. It was just a question like, should it happen? But I have good news, everybody. I'm getting a free t-shirt from TT. I'm really hoping. So that was all sorted. Everything was put back together. Big shout out to guys into the garage because they helped me to actually fit the engine in, finish all the bits and bobs, split the system, and they probably spent with me like 2 days working with me on the car. So before the first startup, I was here early morning and I put oil in, clean all the pipes, check everything again, put the camera inside. All the rubber pipe looked good, nothing in the oil tank, we have oil flow. And I start cranking the engine. So I struggled to actually build up the pressure just by cranking the engine on the starter motor, what you see. And then we decide to go a bit of a different way. So we left the oil filter out and we just turned the engine so it will fire up, and we shut it down straight away until the oil pressure build up, because the starter RPM is just not fast enough to actually build the pressure. Then I did another mistake. Accidentally, I put a wrong oil filter in there, which did fit in the oil filter housing, but unfortunately it was missing the small nipple. So all the oil pressure was actually not going through the filter into the engine, but it was going straight into the return over there. Luckily, we did spot it. I put the correct filter back in and it was all good since. And yeah, it was definitely fun time, because do the job second time, I didn't enjoy it at all. It was very time consuming and I was very tired afterwards, and yeah, it was waste of time actually for a silly thing. I want to say hello to everyone who was working on the car previously and left me the rubber bit in the oil tank. However, I did done a breakdown of the parts, including the car and everything. When I'm looking at the list and I'm actually looking at the shelves, I forgot to put the water methanol in there, and I also forgot to put the high pressure fuel pump upgrade what I bought from Netherlands. So the RS6 was £6,500. We have FCP rods 1100, ZRP 2100, TT turbos 2800. The cylinder head refurbishment was £800. I bought a crankshaft, which I didn't use because then we get another engine with the voicing, so that was another 700. Postage to Slovakia, because why not, was 250. Didn't repair the block, waste of money, waste of time. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Then we had the crankshaft. What I get with the engine was balanced, that was 500. Mine bearings, well, basically 2 sets. I have to pay £650 because for some reason the first set didn't last very long. Then we have engine, what you've seen, the second-hand one from the grey Audi was 5.5. Brakes, what we bought, the carbon ceramics with calipers, was £6,000. Intercoolers, what's on there now, 2200. High flow catalytic converters, £600. Febby lifters, which are not actually Febby, they Aina, but Febby sell them for some reason, don't know why. And it was making the tappy noise, £280. Then we have the RP bolts, because the guy told me we should replace them, so I did. That cost me another £270. Oil pump repair kit, which I used for 100 kilometers, was 600 quid. I have the oil pump, somebody needed, let me know. With water pump and new thermostat at 850. Then we have OM parts, which was the second order after the engine was running on low oil pressure. With the oil pump and the additional things, I pay £3,500. The first order from OM Parts, which was actually to build the engine with head gaskets, all the head bolts, tensioners, rocker cover gaskets, I don't know whatever was there, what you see in the boxes, was £2,900. Porsche injectors, £2,600. They're still in the shelf, I can't put them on there, that will be before the tune. MRC, the kit for the relief valves and stuff was under 600 quid. And also I use TPS for the gearbox service, brake pipe, some linings. I actually bought the chains from TPS because they were cheaper. Few washers, pipes which were leaking and stuff. That was another £1,985. If I'm gonna put the water methanol price on there and the upgraded high pressure fuel pumps, we will get to £44,580. So, very critical, very bad, because on the beginning I didn't know we will spend that much, but unfortunately it worked that much. And again, we still need to put something like tires maybe on there, because currently they are from 2019 and they are quite old and they're not good. Plus the car still have to be tuned, which I'm considering where to go, because I must say Doug from TPS was very helpful. He helped me a lot with all the additional things what I need to buy without any problems really. So I'm still thinking I might get contact with MRC because they tuned the car before. He was the one who used to own the car before. It'll be probably nice to bring it back to him, just have a look at it, like in what condition it is now after years. I'm also considering, of course, Mallory Performance and Phil. I have to get in touch with both of them, what they'll say. Phil told me he can do it. I don't think it should be a problem. I have to fit the injectors there and the relief valve, and probably that's, oh, and the water mantle, of course. And probably that's it. But we will see with the tune. I have to make a decision. So far, we are in the process to run the engine in. Like I said, we're currently using 10W60 Mobile 1 oil, which is quite thick. Should be all right. Still getting through the process of testing the car, like you've seen. Coolant leak, unfortunately. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So far, I'm enjoying it. First 160, 70 kilometers is done. I'll probably need to do another 400, I would say. Meanwhile, we'll be still checking the oil filter, all the stuff, just to make sure nothing is internally failing. But in general, I have a good feeling about the car, so should be all right. So that's the situation, guys. Thank you for all your support with the RS6. Definitely, I'll keep you updated with the videos, see how it goes, and we'll see in the next one. Maybe with the RS6, maybe with something else, don't know. Got to film, there'll be loads of things going on. I'm also going away for a week, then I have to go to Slovakia for a week, then I'll be probably a week or so in the UK, and then we're going to Florida to fit the V10 engine, what I sent there on the pallet. We'll be away for 3 weeks, so we're probably gonna film something in Florida with Mr. Philip in his garage. He's got some good American motors in there with some big superchargers and some other funny things. So maybe something interesting, a bit different compared to the German quality. But yeah, that will be another video. So thank you for watching, guys, and thank you for all the support. We'll see you in the next one. See ya.